For the love of Pete.
Hey, guess what? We are now unmuted. Charles Ashworth says mic check. So I did a mic check. There you go.
David, the producer.
Yeah. Hello. Happy Monday to you.
You know, Mr. Man,
You're lucky I'm here.
I'm going to break your fingers. So, y'all, I'm Juliette Miranda. You are watching Bourbon Soak Live, the best place to be on a Monday night for cocktails and conversation, assuming our microphones are on.
And they are.
And hanging out behind the scenes is my favorite man, David, the producer.
Hola.
Hola. Yes. So here we are tonight. We are going to be talking about everything that rocks. Going through all of our favorite decades of rock music, talking about the best bands, the worst bands, best concerts, all of that. So I want y'all to land yourselves in my chat so that we can have a great conversation about all things music.
Yes. Billy D says 1 2 1 2. Hello. 1 2. Yes. Always a good mic check. You're a lucky girl.
It's a good thing the podcast is pre-recorded and then edited and then put out. Because clearly we've got this live thing down.
Charles says it's funny without the mic on as well. So there you go.
Sweet. Yeah, because none of y'all are really listening, are you? So let me say hello to all the people who are watching on Facebook. Y'all, I need to let you know now that I cannot see your comments until after the show is over. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, you got to come on over here to my YouTube channel, where you can join our chat and hang out with the great people that are already gathering. I know Guardian of Chaos was the first in the chat, so cheers to you, sir. Our friend Larry has been hanging out here as well. It's great to see you. Charles Ashworth is here, obviously. Not a Great Gamer has joined us. It's great to see you tonight, sir. Thanks for being here.
And we have Billy D's podcast.
And Billy D's is here as well. So y'all make yourselves known. Join the chat. And while you're at it, hit the fucking like button. It's a little thumbs up, and it does wonders for the algorithm so that everybody can see this show.
That's right. Likey.
Likey, then subscribe. Cha-ching. In the meantime, y'all, what are you drinking? I'm going with what I like to refer to as an old reliable. This is Buffalo Trace Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. So cheers, y'all.
The Buffalo Trace is going down pretty good for a Monday night.
It's so good. I love this bourbon. I really do. Now, this is a $30 bourbon. It's resoundingly inexpensive. It's 90 proof, and it is delicious. I cannot sing the praises of Buffalo Trace high enough. They're also the people responsible for Eagle Rare, which is pretty much the same mash bill as this one. It's insanely high corn, very low rye, and a little bit of malted barley in there. So what you get is an aged bourbon. Nobody knows quite how long, but the guesstimate is somewhere around 6 to 8 years or so. So you get that wonderful sweetness from the corn, but you get a nice oakiness and spice from the barrel. And what I love is, and I don't even know how they do this, it just has this kind of like grassy undertone to it that I love. Tastes like summer.
It's a real easy bourbon if you're just trying to take it easy, because it is a lower proof, if I recall. What is the proof?
Oh, it's only 90 proof.
Yeah, it's not that high. So it's a good sipper for a weeknight instead of, trying to tear it up. If you really want a big weekend bourbon, go with a Booker's or something like that, right?
Well, and what I love too is that, so it's got this great flavor. You're only spending $30 on a bottle. So if you're going to make a cocktail out of this, it's not a bad choice. Definitely something that just is going to add a lot of flavor without knocking you on your ass first thing on a Monday night.
And it's really accessible in the bars too.
Oh,
you can get it in a lot of bars.
Especially down south here. It's in pretty much every bar that we walk into now.
Which is every bar that we walk into. It
wasn't like that in Chicago, though. In fact, we had a bit of a hard time finding Buffalo Trace back in Chicago. So
they were more Maker's Mark heavy.
They were very Maker's Mark heavy. Down here, you get a lot more of the smaller Kentucky distilleries. In fact, we're seeing a lot more of the Heaven Hill brands down here, too. I feel like Larceny is starting to overtake Maker's Mark just a little bit.
Just a little bit?
A little bit, so fingers crossed, because I love them.
And Charles is drinking Henry McKenna.
Henry McKenna. Oh, that's a good choice.
That's
nice
a 10-year bourbon, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I recall.
Oh,
if my shitty memory serves me right.
So before we kick off our conversation about everything that rocks, I want to remind you all about a little thing that I like to call hashtag Bourbon Soaked Live. Hashtag Bourbon Soak Live is our little getting to know you routine, and it is so super simple. Anybody can do it. Just snap a photo while watching the show. Could be of anything. Could be of your smiling, happy face. It could be of your cocktail. Please don't make it your cock. I don't want to see that. And then post it to the Twitters using hashtag Bourbon Soak Live. Let us know it's there, and we will show you off during the show. Pretty simple, huh?
And Larry says he has his son Jacob listening in tonight, which
wow,
Larry, we'll have you put away for letting your son listen to this. Not a great fatherly move. I was going to make a really crude comment about cherries and breaking them. Yeah. Well, you certainly can, and you should.
And I just did. So I'm so glad he's joining us. That is awesome to hear. Cheers to you both. I see that the Redneck Connection has just joined us. It's awesome to see you here tonight. Hope you're doing well. And Charles Ashworth says, no cock pics, but pics of its, what is that? I can't read that.
Pics of it. Pics of
its tail?
Okay.
Tail?
He's talking about like cock.
Oh, like a cock.
Yes.
Oh,
I didn't get that joke.
It took me a minute because I'm really slow tonight. But oh my God, so it's almost Easter, right? And they've got all those Reese's commercials with the little chickens in the basket. That chicken looks fucking mean. I mean, that thing looks like it's going to poke somebody's eyes out. It kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Is that what you're focusing on tonight?
Yes.
That's weird.
Chickens poking people's eyes out.
Well,
I don't trust those little fuckers.
One good cock story to another. And by the way, not a great gamer, already singing songs. He's ready for the theme for tonight.
Well, hello, Cleveland.
Yeah.
All right, y'all, we're talking rock and roll tonight. And I've really been looking forward to this because there's nothing I love more than hanging out and talking about music. So what do you say we open the conversation up with an easy one, presumably? I want to know who you believe the best rock and roll bands of all time are.
If you had to pick one band, the best band you ever listen to, love, seen, whatever, your band, your go-to.
And we're not talking, oh, but then this band is great. No, I want one definitive answer.
Oh, and the Redneck says, if I drink a lot of bourbon, would I be bourbon soaked? Actually, you'll probably be urine soaked if you drink a lot of bourbon. So
not necessarily.
You gotta be
really
careful.
Equating bourbon and pee all of a sudden.
It depends on how much bourbon you drink.
I drink a lot of bourbon and I don't pee myself.
This is true, but if I make you laugh, maybe a little comes out. Maybe.
I'm not that old yet.
Oh, true.
No.
Okay.
I got at least, I'm hoping 10 more years before that becomes a problem. So Larry has an answer for us, and he says, Kiss.
Yep. Kiss. It's, if you would have asked me 20 years ago, I probably would have said the same thing.
Really?
Yeah.
See, for fuck's sake, Kiss. They're a great band, and they're a great rock band, but I don't think they are the best rock band. I mean, think about it. Aren't their songs just technically kind of stupid?
No. Oh, how dare you?
Well, okay, prove me wrong.
Love Gun? Come on.
Oh, I know, because Love Gun is so fucking clever.
It's subtle.
Oh, yes. No, I hear that, and oh my gosh, I just am all a quiver because, ooh, Love Gun. Sexy.
Have you ever made out to a Kiss song?
Never once.
Then
you know what? I'm proud of it.
You're missing out then.
Making out to a Kiss song sounds really actually kind of sleazy and gross. It's like something you're ashamed of,
Only if you make out to Christine 16.
And then you go home and you can hear it in the back of your head and you're like, what the fuck have I done? And then every time you hear that song, you're just going to want to slit your wrists.
Great band. I got to agree with Larry.
So Charles Ashworth is calling out ZZ Top.
Best little trio in Texas, right?
They are
Is that what they say?
Certainly an excellent band, and I like them far better than I like Kiss. So we're getting closer to the real answer.
Oh, Like yours is the best. ZZ Top, I remember when Fandango came out. That
Oh my
album
God.
blew me away. I'm like, there's no way this is only 3 guys. This
Because
is no
their
way.
sound is just so huge.
It was like when Rush came out. I'm like, this is bigger than 3 guys.
No, when Rush came out, the Angels just crawled into their caverns and died because, ugh.
No woman likes Rush.
Yeah, for good reason, because Rush sucks.
Rush is a great band.
And it's proven that women are far smarter than men. So.
Oh, boy. Redneck Connection says 5-finger death punch. I totally get that.
Okay, well, I love their name, but I couldn't name you a single one of their goddamn songs, so disqualified.
All right, Boomer.
Boomer, really?
Yeah.
We just had this conversation
I know.
earlier.
We're both Gen Xers.
We're both Gen Xers and proud of it. So I see that Charles Ashworth says, making out to a Kiss song is like having sex under a Raiders blanket. You come up with some of the best lines, sir. That is brilliant. And it just pinpoints exactly why it just feels dirty and wrong.
Oh, I love Billy D's here. There may be better bands, but overall, Van Halen was always Eddie. His sound was instantly recognizable. He had it blazing out of my car windows. Absolutely, Van Halen.
Absolutely.
You cannot help but to crank up a Van Halen song when it comes on the radio.
Yeah, I will absolutely give you that. Van Halen is killer, and they're always good. And what's amazing to me is that they have been great through multiple lead singers. Well, through 2 lead singers.
Right.
But either way, I mean, although both versions of Van Halen are incredibly different, both kick ass.
That's right. Patrick Fulmer in the house.
Well, hello,
What's up,
Patrick Fulmer. Nice to see you.
And Go Fish Office says hashtag toy fish or toy fishy
Toy
raid.
Fishy Raid. Well,
Nice.
that's fantastic. Love it.
All right.
Oh, Toyman has just joined us too. That's fantastic. Well, if y'all are just joining us, y'all should be aware that our topic tonight is rock and roll. So we've opened up the conversation with a discussion on who the greatest rock band of all time is. Now, we have a vote for Kiss that I've shot down.
Larry says Kiss for the show, but for listening, it's Motley Crue for him. You got to give your pound for pound. You got to average it all out.
Yeah,
Show.
see, I think we've got to wrap it all up into one package here. We'll break it down a little bit later about, let's say, best 80s hair band, best live show. But right now, we're talking overall, everything in one package.
I know I'm going to go hack here. I know it, but it's the Beatles. I'm sorry. You just cannot get better than the Beatles.
I know, but I do have to question whether or not they are wholly a rock band.
What? How dare you?
Well,
without them, a lot of rock wouldn't even
exist
today.
This is very true. Yes, but it could be argued that on occasion they do veer a little bit toward pop.
Helter Skelter?
Well, okay, maybe not Helter Skelter. I think they are a phenomenal band. They are groundbreaking.
Come Together.
And Come Together, a fucking great song. Absolutely.
God, they had some great rock songs.
Amazing songs. And what's the one that I really like? Is it Get Back?
Yeah,
yes,
Get Back.
Get Back. And
Killer
there's
stuff.
That documentary coming out about them on Disney Plus of all applications, but it's the making of the
Let It Be album.
Let It Be album. And
extended it was stuff never seen before, done by Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson is doing this incredible extended documentary on them, and I've seen clips of it. It looks so fucking cool. I cannot wait to see this thing.
Yep. And
okay, so we have some suggestions
Jimmy
here.
C.
Let's see.
Jimmy C says AC/DC.
AC/DC.
Pound for pound, awesome rock band.
Solid band in all respects.
You know what? Best 3-chord band out there.
Great band. And I see that we have a vote for the White Stripes. Struck that.
How could you not like the White Stripes? Oh my God.
They're hack. I see Patrick Fulmer is asking Rolling Stones. Are they the winners?
Yep. You know what?
They could be.
If you say the Beatles, the next logical thing is Rolling Stones. It's always been a war between the two.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I would argue that the Beatles are the better band.
First of all, it's subjective. You like what you like.
Yes.
It's like arguing what the best bourbon in the world is.
I know, but since this is my show, I'm always right. So, I believe that the Beatles are better than the Rolling Stones, although I guess it depends on my mood. Sometimes I like the Rolling Stones better. I mean, Ruby Tuesday, fucking killer song. I love that.
See, and that's the thing, is that if you ask me today what my favorite band is, you can ask me next week, and I might have a
and it
different
will be
answer
100% different.
based on the kind of mood I'm in, what I want to listen to, because I think I have a good at least top 5.
Now, I see that we have a vote from Jimmy C for Deep Purple, and then we have another excellent vote from Redneck for Metallica.
Yeah. You know what? Metallica, solid.
Solid band. Not the greatest band ever, but solid band.
Oh, yeah. Well, look at this. Well, they're not selling out stadiums now. No one is. But
no, that can't be our litmus anymore because it just doesn't work that way right now.
And album sales can't be that way either.
No, that's different too.
It's all downloads.
It's all downloads.
Yep.
Well, all right. Y'all are probably wondering who I think the greatest rock and roll band of all time is.
Patti Smith.
Who are you?
I don't know. I know who your favorite band is.
Do you? Who is it?
I do. I think that you were going to say Aerosmith.
I am going to say Aerosmith.
I am. I know you all too well.
I fucking love Aerosmith, and they're perfect. They've got this great balance of a transition from their start. They got started like the late 60s, or was it early 70s?
Oh, that's no, late 70s.
But what I love about
early
them
70s
is that their sound has transitioned so well from decade to decade and always sounds relevant and always sounds rock and roll. There was never a period where they decided, let's go country or let's be a pop band. They were always so true to their roots. And you can really hear that in every song. And I'll tell you, I think the Pump album is one of the most underrated rock and roll albums out there. That album is solid song for song.
Jimmy C says Led Zepp has to be in the top because even kids today listen to them, and that is absolutely true. Led Zeppelin, pound for pound as a rock band, man, they tore it up. They changed arena rock. Well,
this brings me to my next conversational topic. Who is the most overrated rock and roll band out there? And I got to hand that one to Led Zeppelin.
Wow. Why do you think that they're overrated?
Well, for starters, half of their songs weren't even written by them. They were written by folk songs that they lifted.
Folk and blues.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a lot of that.
I mean, they lifted really, really heavily from other people, and they didn't even try to make it their own.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole Jimmy Page thing is overrated. I feel like he's a little sloppy. Yeah, exactly.
He's really, but it held it together. And here's why I think they make for a great band. One, that Robert Plant had such a unique voice.
Yes, Robert Plant is an incredible frontman. I mean, just great
and
voice.
Sexy,
and
right?
Incredibly sexy, yeah.
I mean, that guy got more
badass
pussy than any other singer.
Very true.
In the 70s.
I agree.
I mean, it's well documented.
Oh, I know. I would have been right in line had I been there.
Exactly. Now, behind that, you had, I say, arguably the best drummer with John Bonham.
Was not technically a good drummer.
No. Well, technically, I think someone like a Neil Peart from Rush is probably the best drummer. I'm just saying,
we just pretend they don't exist.
Technically. But just the balls and the sound, the tone, and he kept it together. I
want to punch the guy in the face for making the drum solo a thing. Is there not anything more obnoxious than going to a rock show and then getting treated to, 7-10 minutes of drumming? If I want drumming, I can go out onto Bourbon Street and listen to the fucking Bucket Drummers, and I will get a better show.
Well, Jimmy C has got a really good point. And this all depends, Jimmy C, because yes, Aerosmith sucks live. Well, I will say certain decades.
Not always.
Right.
Because I've seen them live multiple times, and of those, only one time were they off their game. The other times they were spot on.
When they were on drugs, they had a really bad series of tours. Matter of fact, they had to cancel some of them.
Yes.
So, they have this rap as being a bad live band.
That being said, though, I mean, talk about bands and their drug problems. Aerosmith managed to overcome their drug problems.
Yeah.
There's none of this like Axl Rose bullshit where like one of them wanders off into the gutter and then doesn't emerge until 20 years later, and then he wants the name.
Yeah. Jimmy C, it says, I could only listen to 2 hours of drums.
Fucking drum solos, you know? Oh, and speaking of solos, we were walking down Royal Street the other day, and there was a guy doing bass guitar solos on the street corner.
Yeah, that's a big snore fest. I'm a bass player, and I say that's a freaking snore fest.
I mean, I appreciated his temerity in getting out there with his bass and plugging in and putting a tip bucket in front of himself. But dude, come on, a bass guitar solo on the middle of the street? No, thank you.
Guardian of Chaos has some good entries.
All right, what's he got? He says, I'm going to say the Eagles, the Allman Brothers, ZZ Top, and Chicago, maybe my Mount Rushmore.
I got to say he's right.
Wow.
I mean, they're all solid bands. They had, dozens and dozens of hits each.
Absolutely.
They
and
all had longevity.
The Allman Brothers might have one of my favorites. They do. They have my favorite song ever.
Yeah. What is it called?
Midnight Rider.
Midnight Rider. I forgot
that is the coolest sounding song ever. I mean, it's just raw. It's a little dirty. It feels so real. I mean, that's a song that you can listen to over and over again, and it immediately takes you to a moment, someplace in your life or just whatever you picture going on while that song was written. And I love it. It just feels so real.
And by the way, if you like the stream, please hit the like button. And if you want to subscribe to the channel. That would be awesome.
It's not fucking hard, y'all.
Yeah, and it's free.
It is free. It is.
I have to add one for the overrated rock bands.
Yes, please do.
Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam. Oh, fuck Eddie Vedder. Oh my God.
Pretentious
Pearl Jam
prick.
Is the most pretentious collection of dickbags ever.
Well, I think the bass player is actually really good. But,
can you name him?
Yeah, the bass player to Pearl Jam. That's his name. It says it on a T-shirt he wears on stage.
Nobody gives a fuck about these guys. They just sit there and they warble. And I mean, y'all already know that I'm not a fan of 90s rock. But come on. I mean, that's like bottom of the barrel shit coming out of the 90s.
Billy D says, he retracted his message, but I'm going to read it anyway.
What'd you say? What'd he say?
His wife says Genesis, and you know what? I got to agree with you. Now there's two versions of Genesis. Are you talking Peter Gabriel Genesis?
Which version?
Or, Phil Collins.
Genesis is maybe a little too avant-garde for my liking.
I liked them both for different reasons.
It's like saying Tears for Fears is the best rock and roll band. Yes, we all know technically they're a great band, but do you really want to sit down and listen to them?
Best live concert ever.
I don't know anybody who sits down and listens to an entire Tears for Fears album.
Yep. Billy D says, my wife says Genesis as a top. I don't blame her.
All right.
Oh, Bashful of the Roundtable. Hey, what's up, Bashful?
I see Bashful has joined us. Cheers to you. Thanks for being here tonight.
And you saw Guardian of Chaos came in, right? Did you catch him?
Of course I did. And he's a fan of Midnight Rider, which, my heart right there.
All right. I'm going to give you my second most overrated band. And I want to see what everyone else's overrated bands are in here. But I got to say, U2. Ooh.
Oh, U2.
Ooh.
There's another collection of pretentious dickbags. My God, like a band who had the potential to be really cool, and there's just something about them that makes me want to hurt them. Maybe it's Bono's voice. I don't know.
They get some decent songs. I'm not
they do.
bagging on them.
The Joshua Tree album and Rattle and Hum are both solid albums. There are songs on both of those albums that I will listen to and not want to poke sharp objects in my ears. But there's just something about the band and the way that they perform that just angers me. Maybe I'm wrong here, y'all. What do you think? What do you think U2 is overrated? So Not a Great Gamer has, I believe this is a joke.
It's a joke and it's a good one.
Read it all. So musician walks into the store and asks the gentleman behind the counter for some picks. Gentleman behind the counter says, "You must be a bass player." The man asks, "Why?" "Because this is a pet shop, sir."
Everyone bags on bass players. Everyone just does. If you're the bass player, you're the fat guy sitting in the back of the band.
Bass players are actually overlooked, I think. They contribute way more to the band than people realize.
I would agree.
And I say this having married one.
Exactly. You are contractually obligated
I
to say that.
I know. If I want to sleep in our bed tonight, I have to say that.
See, Patrick Fulmer agrees. You too, yes, overrated. Oh, and I love this. Lebdi, Springsteen is overrated. Absolutely.
Thank you, Lebdi. Yes, Springsteen is so overrated. His songs are banal. They all sound the same. And his voice is not strong. I mean, it's just
loud.
It's loud. I'll give him that much. But yeah, no, Bruce Springsteen is definitely not one of the greatest rock gods of all time.
Lebdi says good bass players usually don't want to play rock or metal. That's true. They're usually the jazz guy in the back.
Well, that or a funk player.
A funk player's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, and Bashful says, yes, U2 is overrated as well.
Oh, and Guardian of Chaos, once again, you are so my bestie, who says, the Doobie Brothers are very underrated.
Which
yes, I love the Doobies.
Which Doobie you be?
I love the Doobies.
Doobie Brothers are great. And we saw Michael McDonald not all that long ago solo.
We saw Michael McDonald solo, and we saw the Doobie Brothers together perform without him.
Their last tour, they all toured together. For their,
I know.
I think it was their 50th anniversary. I want to say that is somewhat right.
I don't remember.
It has to be because they were like started early 70s. So
they did.
That would be 50 years.
Yeah.
Oof.
Wow, 50 fucking years.
Yeah, Doobie Brothers have been around for 50 years.
I'll tell you, Blackwater is one of the coolest songs out there. I love it when they get to that part where they do the round and you get like just their voices and everything. It's so perfect.
Oh, now the redneck is sucking up to the host.
Oh, what has he said?
He says Bon Jovi.
Y'all, I
love Bon Jovi.
Okay, I have very mixed feelings about Bon Jovi because I do love early Bon Jovi. I love the Slippery album. New Jersey is, for me, I think one of the best rock albums ever. And I say that knowing full well that it isn't. It's just an album that I love. And I realize more and more as I hear them release more and more music, just how shitty of a band they are. Nowadays, because, oh my God, they can't record a song or write a chorus to save their lives. I mean, they're really kind of tragic now. And I hate having to say that, considering how much the band has meant to me over time. But I haven't heard a single song from Bon Jovi that I have liked since the Have a Nice Day album.
Yep. And Guardian of Chaos says, David and Juliette, where do you put Journey, Foreigner, Steve Miller, and Steely Dan? I say the bargain bin.
Oh, come on.
No,
Foreigner?
That's not true.
I love Foreigner.
I like some songs
by
Lou
all Graham. I mean,
yes.
That's great voice.
I'm a big fan of Steely Dan.
And you know you love Journey.
I love a couple early Journey.
Exception of Don't Stop Believing, which might be one of the most annoying songs ever written.
Well, it's overplayed.
It's so overplayed. I don't know how that became the standard bar band song.
Yep. And Jimmy C says, how have we gotten this far without mentioning the Doors?
Well, it's actually kind of easy because I just don't think about the Doors.
You know, they're an iconic band.
I know.
Iconic band.
They're an iconic band, but
well, first of all, any band without a bass player can go suck it.
I'll tell you, the only people I know who have ever genuinely liked Jim Morrison were angsty 15-year-old girls. And I say that because they respond to the tortured poet aspect of him, which the older you get, the more you know it's bullshit.
Hey, WTF Mike's here. We'll ask him, your most overrated rock band. Mm-hmm.
I see that Gamer says that Steve Perry is one of the greatest vocalists of modern time.
I can't disagree with that.
Unfortunately, he has crippling stage fright now, doesn't he? Isn't that the case with him?
It was twofold. One, that his voice, he could no longer hit the notes. Well, they're crazy notes. He could no longer hit those notes.
Age is a bitch.
And on top of that, he started to develop stage fright.
Yeah.
Over time.
Yeah. I mean, it's just too bad.
Yeah.
He had a single that he released, what was it, like 2 years ago? Maybe?
2 or 3
years ago. It wasn't bad.
It was okay.
It's just fine.
Yeah. Didn't light the world on fire.
It's too bad that he couldn't maintain what he had. I see that Elder has joined us and says, hey, girly girl and guy. Hi, nice to see you here tonight.
Sup, Elder?
Nice to see you. And make sure you let us know who you think the most overrated rock and roll band is.
Yep, Two Wheels Down just asked, what is the topic? Cover it.
So we are talking all things rock and roll tonight, and I think it's probably time that we move along from the most
WTF
overrated.
Mike, I asked him specifically what his most overrated band was, and he says Led Zeppelin as well.
All right, well, y'all got I'd say 30 more seconds to enter in your thoughts on overrated bands out there. And while we're thinking about it, I'm going to add in Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses,
so fucking overrated.
I
love Slash. I think he's a good guitar player. I think they had some good songs, but it was unfulfilled.
You know, I think that GNR, their first album, is hard to deny that didn't change the music industry a bit. You know,
I suppose. I see that we have a vote for Twisted Sister as overrated.
Well, how could that not be overrated?
Yeah, I never really took them all that seriously as a band to begin with.
And Two Wheels Down, of course, is Swami. We know that. That's his new channel name.
Oh, that's right. I did know that. Hey, Swami, how's it going tonight?
Yeah, and go check out his new video with his wife picking out a new motorcycle helmet.
So we were talking a little bit earlier about how much I personally cannot stand Pearl Jam. So what do you say we shift over to best bands from the 90s? Because I'm very curious if there's somebody I may have overlooked in all of my anger at the fact that the 90s existed at all.
Best 90s band is kind of a tough one, but I think out of just top of mind, it's got to be STP, Stone Temple Pilots for me.
Stone Temple Pilots was a fucking great band. Yes, that was a band that really should have, I would love to have seen them move into today because I think they could have.
Well, their dead singer won't allow them to.
Obviously not, but had they been able to maintain that, I think they would have been able to do great things.
Yeah, Jimmy C says, were there 90s bands?
There were. I know, amazingly, there were. And speaking of overrated, Nirvana. Fuck Nirvana.
Yeah.
Fuck Nirvana. Now, when I say fuck Nirvana, I don't mean Dave Grohl.
And WTF Mike says, has anyone said Nickelback yet?
Oh my God, what a bunch of douchebags. Fucking Nickelback. Ugh.
You want to hear my Nickelback story?
Oh, we've heard your Nickelback story.
Oh, have I told it on there?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'll pass then.
About chastising the lead singer for wearing his own T-shirt.
Yeah. You can't be in a band of that size and wear your own band T-shirt. I
don't think you can be a human being and wear your own swag. I'm not walking around wearing a Bourbon Soak Live T-shirt every day. I don't give a fuck, okay?
Hey, I'm wearing Bourbon Soak Live underwear.
What makes it Bourbon Soak Live underwear? Is it the P?
It's the P.
That was a callback, y'all.
Yes. Oh, Broke Necks. I was so into Henry Rollins in the 90s. Yeah, he was, talk about a trailblazer.
Yeah, he absolutely was.
Awesome. Seven Dust, great call for a good 90s band, or some of the best.
I have to admit, I did enjoy Soundgarden.
Oh, you said Green Day, Jimmy C?
Green Day? Ugh. Oh, that whole quasi-punk transition that happened in the 90s where it started with Green Day and then you have 5,000 clones of them running around on the scene.
All three pieces.
Pass. I mean, what a nightmare that was. Who decided that post-punk pop was going to be a thing?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Not a Great Gamer says, push Nickelback off a cliff that lands on the edge of another cliff that then falls again.
Into a pit full of broken glass and rabid dogs.
Ooh, you know, a huge one that we forgot, or at least I forgot, Billy Dees calls out Foo Fighters. Freaking amazing band.
And see, that's where I'm going with the whole Dave Grohl thing, because I really appreciate what he does and how much he is trying to maintain rock and roll as well as he can. And for that, I got to hand it to him.
Oh my God. WTF Mike says Green Day was way better than STP. Oh my God.
Never.
Oh, I forgot. WTF Mike likes to drink. So I
we
understand.
all like to drink. That is not an excuse.
Oh, and he says, don't even get me started on Alice in Chains. That's a killer band.
I never liked Alice in Chains.
Oh, love them.
No, they were
Love
way
'em.
too whiny.
How
How is that good singing? It isn't. It isn't at all.
No, it's not great singing in that
I mean,
song
my cat in
specifically.
Heat sounded better than that.
I actually like the replacement singer better than Lane Staley, I got to be honest.
Did they even exist after Lane Staley?
Oh, yeah. They still tour, do the whole thing.
Ugh,
Yep.
Boo.
Let's see. Fishbone was an excellent band. Yes, absolutely. Swami. Fishbone was a very cool band.
Meh.
Oh, please. Larry says Oasis. They were a 90s band. I think so. Yeah, they were a 90s band.
Yeah,
Rock.
I see Bashful
They're
also
more pop.
called out the Goo Goo Dolls.
They were popular.
They were very popular, and they weren't terrible.
But so was NSYNC.
I mean, really, if we're going for 90s bands, I'd have to hand it to NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys.
They were pop, though. They're not rock.
Well, I know they don't qualify as rock, but that's just how slim pickings the music was in the 90s. There was one band that I really liked, though, and it was probably later 90s that they came out, but Buck Cherry.
Yeah, Buck
Oh,
Cherry
no,
was great.
That was like mid 90s, wasn't it? Like 96, maybe?
Right.
Somewhere. I don't know.
Redneck says, hey, now I wear my own merch.
Oh, you do, you redneck.
Yeah. This is why you qualify as redneck. And that's totally, it's a thing. Not a Great Gamer says, can we give Kitty a shout out?
Who?
I don't know what that
Kitty?
is.
I don't know what Kitty is.
Kitty is shout out.
All right. Well, whatever. There you go.
90s was Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. I wasn't into them, but I know a lot of people that were.
The whole horn section thing.
It was swing.
That was another.
Swing kind of came back.
That was another weird trend that happened in music, and it hit all the genres too, including the last bands left over from the 80s. Like Extreme, they're like, let's add a horn player to our songs and maybe we'll be cool again and relevant. And no, you're not. You look desperate and stupid. But we've been talking about all of these, and I'm not like the yay ladies person, but we've been talking about all these, dude-driven bands. Are there any decent female singers out there that we can think of?
Female rock singers?
Female rock singers. And I got one. Debbie Harry.
I argue that she's not that good.
Well, I'm not saying that she's the greatest singer in the world, but she held her own. I like her. I like Debbie Harry. And I also liked Lita Ford. I don't think she was a great singer, but she held her own.
Oh, boy.
So, y'all, work with me here. Were there any killer rock and roll female singers?
I don't know. While they're coming up with that,
you got to scroll
Mike,
down the chat.
I am. We're a little far behind here.
See anything here?
I know. WTF Mike says Pearl Jam was a whiny bunch of ass bands.
Yeah, they were.
They were. Okay. Ooh, Jimmy C with 90s Black Crowes. How do we forget Black Crowes?
Black Crowes. Oh, that's one of those bands that I just like. I love and I hate equally. I love their music.
Why do you hate them?
Well, I love their music. I love all of their albums equally. I think their albums are tremendous. But then when I go to see them live, I get so frustrated because they're one of those bands that feels like they've got to pull out the jams from the archives that nobody wants to hear. And I don't care how stoned I am. I don't get off on standing in a rock club with a zillion other people swaying back and forth to a 20-minute jam session.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my thing.
Well, what they turned into was totally different from what they first started out as, which was, and no one was doing just regular rock and roll. Like they kind of brought that back.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
with that great dirty
bands.
70s sound. They were phenomenal.
It was like the Faces, like they come back to life.
Absolutely.
I was like, where'd these guys come from?
Now, if you'll scroll down, I see we have a call out to Shirley Manson as a killer female rock and roll singer.
Ooh, good
Absolutely. Great call there.
Joan Jett,
another good one. Yeah, I mean, she was a badass.
Linda Ronstadt, I have to say, her early stuff was rock, and she was badass.
I love Linda Ronstadt so much, and all the more because she sang a Mike Nesmith song.
Oh my God, how did we even not think of this?
Anne from Heart.
Anne and Nancy Wilson from Heart.
Yes. Oh my God, Heart. They're not my favorite band in the world, but I really appreciate what they did. Just hearing Barracuda
for the first time.
It's such a badass song.
You just listen to the first 5 notes of that, and you're like,
It's
you're
just
in.
boom and raging, and it's cool. And then her vocals on that are insane.
Just off the hook.
Yeah.
And she can still hit those
She certainly
frickin'
can.
notes.
Yeah, she is seriously cool.
You know
Thank
what?
you for bringing that up, Gamer.
Yes. And you know what? Absolutely, in my book, the top female vocalist of rock.
I see we have a couple people calling them out. Larry did. Bashful the Roundtable loves Heart as well. Patrick Fulmer is calling out Grace freaking Slick.
I got to give her a nod.
Yeah.
How could you not give Grace Slick a nod? I know she's batshit nuts, but...
Well, I mean, you kind of have to be involved in rock and roll at all.
And WTF Mike does say, Rage Against the Machine can lick my lower left ball. You know what? I'm a fan of Rage. Some of the stuff of Rage, like 2 or 3 songs that I think are just like, can get you in such a great mood.
Rage Against the Machine puts you in a great mood.
Oh, yeah. It's angry and loud and, good stuff.
No.
I love it. Oh.
No.
Back to the female singers, Janis
Joplin. I fucking love Janis Joplin.
Oh, and Bashful says Black Crow sucked live. Yeah, it depends on when you saw them.
I know that was the thing that made me insane. Like they were either on, and when they were on, they were really on and awesome, or they sucked.
Yeah. I've seen them both ways. I've seen them where they just absolutely blew me away, and then another time where they just blew. Led D's like those 10-minute extended versions of songs. Guns N' Roses does that live. Exactly. I don't need to hear the rough cut of your song. It's like reading a book that hasn't been edited. I just can't do it. And I don't like jam bands. I do not like jam bands.
I know you don't.
Oof.
I know.
Oof.
And that's where my love-hate affair comes in with the Allman Brothers, because a lot of their songs are very jammy.
Oh, how about 4 Non-Blondes?
4 Non-Blondes.
And the Melvins. Also great women singer.
4 Non-Blondes. What was their song? That's what's in my head. Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And what was that other one? Joan Osborne. She had another song.
Joan Osborne. Yeah, she was like a 1 or 2 hit wonder. Yeah. She didn't last very long. But a good singer nonetheless.
Stacey Morgan is calling out Melissa Etheridge.
Great singer.
Great singer.
But you know what? Her voice really hasn't held up.
No, it hasn't. And I think she was kind of a 1-album wonder, because it was just that one that broke through and had great songs. And then the rest of them were just kind of like downhill from there.
Stacey Morgan's in the house. What's up, Stacey?
Good to see you. I see that Larry is calling out Chrissy Hynde from The Pretenders.
Oh, solid choice.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Solid choice. And there was one that we forgot, and now I already forgot who it was when I saw Stacey come in.
I don't know.
Yeah, there was another really good chick singer. Anyway, we should probably get to the best 70s rock.
Oh, my favorite category ever. The best 70s rock fans.
Rock.
Well, there are so many to choose from, y'all. And I'm going to today have to go with Creedence.
You're going with
CCR. Yes. I mean, talk about a cool, swampy rock and roll band, the bit of an attitude, swagger, songs that today still resonate. I mean, just hands down, great band. Great fucking band.
I have to go with my favorite 70s band, The Faces.
And I agree with you 100%. The Faces are also criminally underrated.
Right.
I don't think enough people know about The Faces and exactly who was in that band. I mean, fucking Rod Stewart, Ron Wood. I mean, killer players all together on the same stage, just sweating and just balls out rock and roll and sexy as all get out.
Yep. Oh, Leb D says Derek and the Dominoes album with Clapton. That is a killer album. Killer album.
Okay.
You know, I'm not a huge Eric Clapton solo guy or even a Cream
Eric
guy.
Clapton kind of bugs me.
But with Derek and the Dominoes, oof, that is good. Good stuff. And WTF Mike says, not trying to format your show, but what was your all-time favorite one-hit wonder? Let's save that for a couple minutes.
We will have to save that for another time.
Yeah.
I see that Larry's calling out Thin Lizzy as being solid. And yes, I love Thin Lizzy. And I constantly forget about how much I enjoy songs like the Cowboy Song, killer song. I know. And I don't I think the reason you don't like Thin Lizzy is because you had to play them in all those bands you were in.
Maybe, but no, I'm just not a Thin Lizzy fan. Never liked, I thought his voice was mediocre at best. I thought the songs were put together okay.
They had great guitars.
I never thought they were a bad band.
You just weren't into them.
I'm surprised they got signed.
You're surprised they got signed?
Yeah.
They're not that bad.
No, they have no hits.
I'm sorry, Thin Lizzy has no hits?
They had one moderate hit, and that was Jailbreak.
Boys Are Back in Town?
That didn't become a hit till much later.
But it's still a hit.
Much later.
Oh, please.
He was dead when that song actually became a hit. How about that?
No, that's not right. That can't be right.
It didn't even break top 10.
I think you're incorrect on that one.
No, I am so right it hurts. All right, 70s bands. We have Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Fuck
Hell
yes.
Yeah, Elder.
Yes, absolutely. I also see a call out from Jimmy C for Jay Giles.
Jay Giles, that's solid. You know what?
Isn't that an 80s band?
No, they were actually a 70s band. A lot of people don't know it because of that stupid Centerfold album that came out in the 80s. Actually, were some of their biggest hits.
And it's their shittiest song. I know.
Oh, yeah. But when they were a blues and rock band in the 70s, they were kick ass. And they put on a great live show.
It's like Robert Palmer. Everybody knows him for Simply Irresistible and that whole thing. But prior to that, he had some killer solo songs that nobody even remembers to this day.
Mm-hmm. And Broke Neck says Aerosmith, favorite 70s band. Can't blame me for that.
Yeah, I actually called them out as what I believe to be my favorite band of all time.
Wow, that's a pretty bold statement.
I just think they're the perfect rock band.
Yeah, I get it. Do you remember Eating Sausage in September? Yes, I do, Gamer. Yes, that was a good Earth, Wind, and Fire. I saw them live no more than like 8 years ago, and they still tore down the house. They were so good. Of course they did,
because they're solid musicians, which is the key for any band. You can't just have a good song. You've got to be great musicians. You've got to have that right chemistry together. I think when you look at bands like we were saying, or I was saying earlier with Bon Jovi, they've kind of disintegrated over the years. And that's because I don't think they were all that great of musicians to begin with. They just worked it the right way in a certain time period.
Patrick Fulmer says Jethro Tull. I can't get behind a flute player in rock. I tried.
Yeah.
Even though the Aqualung album is strong, I tried and I could not really get into Jethro Tull.
No, I see Mad Kiwi is calling out Queen, Led Zeppelin, and Pink Floyd, and hell yeah to the Queen. Talk about a
Queen,
fucking great band.
Arguably the most unique band in the 70s.
They took so many risks with their music. I mean, really
putting opera in music. Who would even think to do that?
And making it sound rock and roll.
Well, but Broke Necks makes a good point, and this is Genesis pre-Phil Collins. When all the prog rock started to come along, music started to get more technical, and it started to get more complicated. Technology changed. Synthesizers were introduced, and all this great things that brought rock to a whole different level for a bunch of different ways, and it was killer.
But would you argue maybe, and I think I could, that technology has in a lot of ways hurt bands?
I think the bands that overuse it, absolutely.
Because they rely on it so much now to perfect their sound. And if you like something like auto-tune, it just diminishes a band's value as just being a solid singer without it. And then they start to rely on it. And then all of a sudden, you don't even have a band anymore. You have a computer.
Yep. And I like Bashful. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. I remember, when I first heard that, and I go, "Oh my god!"
Oh yeah!
Oh my god!
Fucking Bob Seger, yes.
Yeah, I mean, his songs aren't complicated. His voice isn't overly,
No,
there's not a lot about it, but it's raw.
It's raw, and it's got that great sort of tonality to it, like when he's doing, what is it, Night Moves?
Night Moves.
Night Moves.
Oh, I don't know.
That's a song that just gives you chills when you hear it at the right time.
Yeah.
Jerry has joined us, and he's asking if we have discussed Kiss. And yes, we did at length at the start of the show. Jerry, where were you?
But we all know Jerry loves Kiss. And, we already hit the 70s bands. We already hit the 90s bands. No. we're in 70s bands right now, right?
We are. However, I see a perfect transition to go into 80s bands because Broke Necks is calling out technology didn't hurt bands, the keytar.
Keytar was a really awful.
It was.
Who was it? Was it Gary in Cars? What was that guy's name? I think he actually introduced the keytar.
He may have, yes.
I could be wrong on that.
But I don't think Journey had a keytar. I think what they did in their video was nail their keyboard to the wall.
Right. It's just as bad as a keytar.
It's just as bad as a keytar, y'all. Ugh.
All right, Guardian of Chaos, Kansas, Boston, Foghat. Oh, Foghat.
Foghat.
I have to say Kansas because our buddies.
Yes, I know. We have personal attachments to Kansas.
But Boston was an amazing band.
Boston had a sound that was unlike anything you heard. I mean, when that kicked in, you were just like, oh my God.
Well, you can't replicate it because he was overdubbing 9 to 15 guitars.
Which actually is an argument for technology working for a band.
Yeah, but it worked on the album.
Did it work live?
He was able to recreate it live, and that's how and why he created the Rockman.
Oh, look at that.
It was like a layering machine.
Okay.
Yeah, layering effect.
All right.
So I give him a lot of credit.
I stand corrected on technology.
No. Oh, Gary Newman. That's who it was.
Gary Newman. Thank you.
Thank you. 80s. WTF Mike says, your favorite band in the 80s.
Well, I see two references to Huey Lewis in the News. I see one saying they rocked. I see another saying that they sucked.
Hey, they are a divisive band.
I get it. Huey Lewis in the News is not for everybody, but we're talking rock bands, and I think Huey Lewis is unequivocally a pop band. So we can probably save y'all the ass beating I will give you for saying that they suck tonight.
That's right. They are a pop band, not a rock band. I got to give you that.
But if we want to transition to the 80s a little bit and talk about some of the great bands from the 80s.
Can I finish the thought?
Oh, you had a thought?
I had a thought.
Oh, please share it with the group.
Yes, because someone else mentioned Foghat again, that if you haven't heard Foghat, you don't know much about Foghat, there's one album you need to buy that will change your life, and that's Foghat Live. Oof.
Is it really live, though?
There's supposedly is. A lot of the ones in the 70s weren't, like Frampton Comes Alive.
Frampton Comes Alive was faked.
Kiss 1 and Kiss 2, not
faked.
Live albums.
I mean, come on, assholes. You can't just record a live album. You got a fucking fake one?
You know what? It worked for him. Just saying.
Lame. If you don't have enough faith in your live sound to record a genuine live album, you're doing something seriously wrong.
Oh my God, we have Jim from Video Call-In Show.
Oh,
good
look
to
who's
see
here.
You.
Nice.
And good call, Missing Persons, Dale Bozio and Terry Bozio.
Oh,
great.
Yes.
One of my favorite drummers ever, Terry Bozio. Awesome band.
I see that there is a point being made about Huey Lewis in the News about pop and whether or not they are that because they have a song called The Heart of Rock and Roll.
Yeah, you can have the name rock and roll on the title.
Still a pop
Doesn't mean you're a rock and roll.
It's still a pop song.
Yeah. Nice try.
So Broke Neck says, I was so into hair metal. I'm bald now, so I have to relive my big metal hair days through my record player. So let's talk hair bands, y'all. Give me some of your favorites. And we had a call out earlier from Motley Crue. I think they really, in my book, win the award for being the best hair metal band. I really do. They were perfect. They were sexy. They were dirty. They had really fun songs.
Oh, I think that they are one of the best hair metal bands, no doubt.
Absolutely.
I still say that first album is
Too Fast for Love.
Yeah, it's recorded so badly that it's awesome.
I know, it sounds like it's recorded through a tin can.
It's not a great recording, but the songs carry that album. It's unbelievable.
It does. Now I see Garden of Chaos is calling out Whitesnake. Yes, I love Whitesnake. That is such a solid band. I feel like Still of the Night is just one of those songs that I can still listen to this day and love. Like if I listen to something like Here I Go Again, I feel a little dirty. I do. Like I'm hearing it, I'm like, oh God, I know this song is kind of like cheesy, it's a little stupid, but when I hear Still in the Night, I just rock. I love it.
Mama Redneck, welcome to the show. She says, Poison, sorry, you're going to have to stand in the back of the line.
Yeah, for so many reasons.
No, you know what? Everyone loves what they love. It's so subjective.
I know.
And they had arguably the biggest hits.
I think they did. Yeah. I mean, and I think people can really name all of their songs like off the top of their head.
Yeah.
It's like Def Leppard. You know all of Def Leppard songs.
Def Leppard, great band.
Absolutely. But then I saw that Jerry called out, and I agree with him. He says Dokken is one of the strongest bands of that era. But how many people can recall Dokken's songs?
That's it. There's not a lot of, they had a couple of moderate hits.
Yeah, exactly. But even those, if I heard them, I would know them, but I can't think of their titles right now.
I thought Rat was the coolest thing when they first came out.
I used to love Rat.
Yeah, Jimmy C calls out Rat, and I think Rat was very cool.
Absolutely.
And then they became uncool pretty quick.
Yes,
because then every album sounded the same.
Stocks.
Well,
yes.
Every album became the same album.
Right. I think if the band didn't advance their sound just enough, then you stop taking them seriously. And that's why I always liked Winger, was because they had really strong songs, great musicianship, and they were always just really well done.
And he got a bad rap though because he was a dancer. And it's really hard when you're trying to be a macho hair metal band player.
Oh, I disagree. His moves on stage were good.
Hey, you know what? We had Kip on the show. He was a really nice guy. And
Kip was a super nice guy. What was crazy was that I interviewed Kip. That was my third interview with Kip. I interviewed him twice, once in the late 80s and then again in the 90s. And he's always just been consistently a cool dude.
Yeah, good guy. Oh, we got a couple of folks now saying Faster Pussycat.
Faster Pussycat is one of those bands. It's such a total weird thing for me to listen to now because I used to love them. And the same can be said for LA Guns. I used to just love those bands, and now I find them unlistenable.
Some just don't have the staying power. And I will say this, that Mama Redneck says Warrant. I think that they have some killer songs.
They are dramatically underrated. Uncle Tom's Cabin is a great song. Yes. I
could listen to that, over and over again.
That's a great song.
But then you put cherry pie on it. It makes me want to slice my throat.
I know, because it's just so over the top cheesy, but that's why.
Well, it's cotton candy, but they were capable of doing so much more.
So good at doing both.
I know.
Absolutely. And I think there were a lot of bands then that were. I mean, you look at a band like Skid Row, not necessarily the most technically adept players, but they had some great songs.
They did. They absolutely did.
And I see we're doing some deep dive stuff here. I see Yngwie Malmsteen.
Wow, that is deep dive. Yngwie's still out there playing. Pantera for the angry days. Yes. Metallica, absolutely. I don't consider Pantera Metallica obviously hair metal though.
No, I definitely do not. They fell outside of that realm of the hair metal bands.
Quiet Riot though, and you know what? I got to give them to their early albums. They were great stuff.
They were solid.
Solid stuff. Video Call-In Show says August Heat. Don't know them.
I have no idea who that is. And August I know every Heat. Band.
Huh. Wow.
And Leb D says Stronger Now would have been a hit if Warrant came out with it before 91. You are so right. Absolutely. And I always felt a little bad for them because I felt like they kind of took some of the hardest hits from the changeover into the 90s. They did. Slaughter did. Slaughter wasn't that great of a band to begin with, but
hey, I toured with them and I go, man.
I know you toured with them. Yeah, the same happened.
But they're super nice guys. How about that?
Always decent guys. Although
nice guys.
I could tell you some stories about those boys.
How about the Redneck Connection says Poison Talk Dirty to Me was the first song he ever made out to. How about that?
I don't know if I should congratulate you or say I'm sorry. Yeah. Do you need a hug?
You don't talk dirty to me though. If you're gonna make a move on a chick and that's on in the car,
that's not a makeout song.
Yeah.
No. That's like a party song. That's a get your juices going song. A makeout song is something that's got a groove. And if you want to talk about another underrated band, I'll give you the greatest makeout song from a great band from the 80s.
What?
Mr. Bone by Great White.
I don't even know if I know that one.
Nah. You probably don't. You don't like Great White to begin with. Well,
don't like them.
I love Great White. To this day, I can still listen to them. I know they are derivative. I get it. You don't have to explain that to me. I still love the band. And Mr. Bone is sexy and it's dirty. It's like Slice Your Pie from Motley Crue. It's just a sleazy kind of song.
Well, and Jim calls out, and I know this isn't necessarily a hair metal band because they're not, but they were in around the time, they were a little earlier than hair metal. Freaking April Wine, one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, was it Rollin'? That was them, right? Roller.
High Roller, baby.
Something. Yes, that's the one. That's
one of
the
them.
one.
And then, they had a lot of great songs. Great songs. Matter of fact, we got to download some of those songs. We have to put that on the playlist. That's good stuff right there. Okay.
You know, another band from the 80s that gets a bad rap is Tesla. And I know you don't like them either.
They make a better car than a band.
I have to know, and y'all, somebody in the chat has to back me up on this. Tesla, good band. Yes?
Good car.
Yes?
Shitty band.
Why are they a shitty band?
You know what? They sound like they wanted to be somewhere in between the Black Crowes.
But the Black Crowes weren't
a hair metal band.
But the Black Crowes didn't exist when Tesla came out.
It doesn't matter.
How could they want to be something that didn't exist?
Because they tried to do something that didn't work, where the Black Crowes made it work.
See, I believe that Tesla might have lifted a little too heavily from Aerosmith. Still, I think they were a great band.
Jerry says Tesla. Never understood. I get it.
Wow. All right. Well, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
The cheese stands alone.
Yeah. Jim calls out If You See K, which is an April Wine song.
Yes.
It's awesome. No Tesla, says Jimmy C.
Wow, come on. Love song, Mechanical Resonance.
Brokeneck says, my girlfriend in the 80s liked Tesla. Maybe Tesla was like a chick band then.
All right, well, the video call-in show is calling out the Cult. And no, Tesla is not a chick band. Nor is the Cult, but they definitely have similar sort of sounds. It's a little more... robust, I think, than the average 80s band.
Yeah, robust.
Because you look at it as being like, candy versus steak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they certainly weren't a hair metal band.
Oh, God, no, not at all. More Than Words.
Video calls them More Than Words. That's extreme.
That's extreme. So close.
I like it though.
So close.
There was a band that was more talented than they were given credit for.
Than they should have been.
Because they had the one big hit, which was More Than Words, and was really cheesy.
Well, what about
they had Get the Funk Out? They
Mama Don't Want to Go to School Today?
Yeah, they had some awesome, great tunes.
I think their Porto Graffiti album is another one of those overlooked albums. If you listen to it today, it actually holds up. It's good.
Yeah, some good stuff.
Thank you. Redneck Connection likes Tesla.
Yep.
Well, y'all, this has been a hell of a conversation. I have
great calls in the chat tonight.
Yeah, you guys
bands.
Clearly know your music, and we're going to have to do this again. So what do you say next Monday night? We'll come on back and talk about some more stuff. So don't forget, y'all, I have a podcast. It is called The Unwritable Rant. It is bourbon-soaked storytelling. Unlike this train wreck of a show, it's actually a curated 20-minute story about the insanity of my life. So check that out wherever you find your fine podcasts. Also, don't forget to like this fucking show. You were here. You might as well show something for it. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and tell all of your fucking friends.
Ooh, we have fucking friends.
I know, right? And speaking of fucking friends, let's say thank you to everybody who's been hanging out with us tonight. Now, Guardian of Chaos was our very first to the chat. So, y'all, you are awesome.
Yeah, Go Fish, Office, Jim from the Video Call-In Show, of course, Redneck Connection, and Mama Redneck, WTF Mike,
my friend
Jimmy C,
Jerry from the Bad Cop Show.
That's right. Patrick Fulmer, Leb D,
Mad Kiwi, of course.
Broke Necks.
Bill Trudell was here.
Oh, Bill. I didn't see Bill pop in. There he is.
Did we mention Jimmy C and friends? If not, thank you for being here.
Dreams Place is here. Great to see you. Thanks for popping in. We also had a whole bunch of people earlier, which I know I'm going to forget. I know.
I know we're missing a bazillion
Matt Kiwi,
people.
If you didn't say that already. And
Billy D's was here.
Of course, Elder.
Broke Necks. We call
This
it
is like
bashful?
romper room.
I know.
Yeah,
This is
it's
our
bashful.
romper room roll call, y'all.
Bashful from the round table, of course. We cannot forget her. Wait, and then of course we had the raid, which we had Toy Man here.
Absolutely,
Right.
and Elder was here also.
Yes, I think we got a lot of them.
If I missed, Stacey Morgan was here also.
Stacey.
So if I missed you, I apologize. Just know that I'm so glad you were hanging out with us tonight. You chose to spend your Monday night getting a little bourbon soaked with me, which is awesome.
And Larry.
And Larry. And that is David, the producer, who next time promises he will have the microphones on when the show starts.
See ya!
You're still here? It's over. Go home.